Hey, welcome back, Kings. So today I wanted to switch gears a little bit and do something a little bit more entertaining. That is, I've been doing a lot of analytical. Oh, save money by sleeping with older women, this homie strategy and everything, and that's all well good. That's all fun, but it can get boring. Just talking about population pyramids and amortization tables for investments, or investment growth tables. I wanted to kind of get a little bit more down to earth about why you should stay the course and ignore American women who are going to be very spicy and salty about your endeavors. Let's get right into it. This is the magnificent rise of Passport Bros, part 2 from FBE Capital. Great channel, definitely recommend it. So here we go.
Predators.
I think going abroad, they go for women who are more vulnerable.
Okay, let's talk about Passport Bros. So the only women they'll be getting are the ones that they're paying for.
All right, so you probably remember this woman. This is from one of my older videos. This is the one I was kind of making fun of, talking about her white privilege. And there's a lot of truth to that. I think, in my opinion, that her faux egalitarianism is rooted in, just her anger towards men going overseas, right? You're going to Philippines or whatever. I guess it's a common one. Philippines and Thailand would be two common ones. But she talks about how you're just taking advantage of underprivileged women, and they don't speak English, they sleep on dirt floors. Just kind of a lot of hyperbole and straw man arguments and everything. It was kind of ridiculous. Point is you just kind of ignore it. It's really just fomenting hate and anger. But let's continue with her.
Now, what's ironic here is that this lady, Jessica, who is a massive hater of Passport Bros,
single mom of 2 kids, let's keep that in mind,
is actually a Passport SIS herself.
So we're getting to see something. Why I decided to go to Italy to date. So you're seeing some problems here, right? And I should say, oh, well, the motivation's different. The men there, they have means. They actually don't. Italian men, if you ever listen to the channel Yashi on TikTok, he's an Italian American. He will tell you straight up that Italians, not that they live in poverty, but they don't have a tremendous amount of means. They have very low income, and a lot of their income is taxed. And what they have left over is practically nothing. It barely pays them for rent and food. And many of them are kind of just stuck in their own country. They can't even travel. They can't do anything. And it's not the glorious picture that we have in our minds. But she's envisioning that that these Italian men are just suave, rich, charismatic, thick accent, it's sexy and all that. So let's continue.
That made me decide to go to Italy today. If you've ever been to the Balkans, you know what I'm talking about, and it's all men.
Now, I don't know what made her decide to go to the Balkans. My family is Central European. We even have ancestors that are from Serbia and everything. But it's I don't really understand that. But let's continue.
But yeah, you can't really expect that type of chivalry that I have found in other countries. Even in the ones that I love, that I prefer to date in, like Italy.
So we're already starting to see we can't expect that type of chivalry even in Italy, right? So the whole thing about her reading these trashy novels or whatever she's Eat, Pray, Love, and whatever the other movies and books are kind of romanticizing was the one from that woman who went to Italy, who was recently divorced, and I forget the name of it. But anyway, Under the Tuscan Sun, I think, right? So you get the idea. There's this sort of romanticization of Italy.
Their brain movement is more American male toxicity.
Yep, classic.
All right, so little TikTok thing here. Delicious food, flirt with Italian men, and could not care less about American consumerism. So, she's doing what we do as Passport Bros, in the sense that oh, well, we don't hate America. I mean, I love America's ideas and a lot of the people, just platonically. Great country, great ideas. Politics are all messed up. There's massive consumerism. She'd write about that. But I'm going to give credit where credit's due, but like we're kind of thinking along the same lines, but we're not, bashing America as an idea. We're bashing the idea of like our modern dating culture in America. And I'll get to like a little bit like why I even will empathize a little bit with American women in dating. I know it's surprising, right? Because red pill movement's like, F them. They cause the problems and everything. Some of that's true, but I think that some are kind of just like stuck in this, and they didn't necessarily deserve it.
Big fat hypocritical feminist, traveling all over the world to meet men, but then cry about it when men do the very same thing, only a lot better.
And that brings up a good point. There is no such thing as a passport cis movement. Women like her want to believe that and will do this to kind of spite men. Oh, well, you're doing it. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to be a passport cis. I'm going to get my beautiful man, my sexy man abroad. Well, you see that she's not really running into too many successes there so far, and you get to see a little bit more what's the problem there. But they're just doing the same thing, and in the end, it comes down to like there is no place for them to go. America is their last stand, or whatever Western country, UK, Australia, etc. But America, I'm focused on here. That's their last stand, and like Ronald Reagan saying, like America's our last stand of freedom. It's their last stand of like dating freedom, because anywhere else is going to have challenges and difficulties in different respects. Yeah, they're going to get that sexy accent, but then they're going to have, and you'll hear about it, 50-50 and more expectations for sex, and it's not going to be the same romantic story that they heard about in the movies and books.
Anyways, not only is Jessica here traveling all over Europe trying to find a great guy, she's not exactly having any luck with it.
German men I felt were very similar to American men. They want to go 50-50 if they do.
Right, so you're hearing that already. If they do pay, they want to go 50-50 if they pay.
Pay, they're definitely expecting something. If you don't give them something, there's some resentment.
Right, so that's it. She's finding out that the European men are maybe more transactional than American men. There's too many simps in America, I think, and she's probably used to that and gotten very like comfortable with the idea of like simps. She's not attracted to simps, but she likes the fact that they'll pay for dinner, and she might have a guy on the side that she's messing around with. And this is one of the things that I've seen a rise of that's really kind of irritating. When I was dating, I actually catch several women doing this. They'd have some friends with benefits lined up, and they're just trying to monkey branch to a relationship. So they get their scratch itched because maybe they're horny all the time or whatever. So they have their little Chad or whatever, some guy who they're attracted to or they feel good around, having sex with them, once or twice a week. And in the meantime, they're dating other guys. And I think the one story, because I used to be friends with benefits with somebody, and I would never forget that she brought over leftovers from the restaurant that she was taken on a date with. At first, I was kind of like feeling pretty guilty about it, and I was like thinking, wow, I mean, why should I feel guilty about it? I don't know the guy. I mean, he's just a poor guy, but, I'm not going to, like, out of principle, stop sleeping with her just because, some guy didn't vet her properly. And now, there are ways to find that out. I'll probably get into another video about like how you can find it. Although it's kind of getting into like domestic dating, and I'm trying to like focus on offshore dating and, going overseas. But anyway, we'll continue.
With the men these days, sitting on the outskirts, waiting for women to make the first.
I don't like it, y'all. And this is universal. Like, I'm even finding Italian men doing this.
You see a little laughter. I mean, it's kind of like, see, I told you so kind of moment. And it's unfortunate, but, she's learning the hard way. She spent a lot of money. Hopefully she got to enjoy her vacations and everything. But, maybe the problem is that there's probably been a couple of like Italian Chads or Balkan Chads or German Chads or whatever. Probably got her to spread a couple times. And now she's getting a hard lesson in the fact that there is no such thing as a passport cis.
Yeah, definitely not a great idea to go to Europe if you don't want to do 50-50.
You go on that first date and the woman pays for you?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
In fact, as a Dutchie myself, we do not try to impress women with fancy cars to pick them up from a date. No, we show up on bicycles and she can hop on, or she can just meet us at the bar or the restaurant. We Dutchies really don't care how she gets there, just as long as she gets there on time.
So there you go. The Europeans don't have the means that Americans do. I mean, we romanticize, this universal health care and this and that. It's all great. I mean, it's great for people to kind of sustain people, but the con of that, the problem with that is you don't have as much of a land of opportunity. So you're going to have many more people who are like lower middle or middle class or whatever, and their idea of middle class is, especially in the city, they don't have the means to have a car. Look at all the bicycles compared to the cars in this picture, just to give you an idea, especially in the cities. And if they have cars, they're very like humble in nature. There's not many Lamborghinis and Ferraris driving around places like that, unless you go to like Milan or whatever, and only even small percentage of those people are going to own those kinds of vehicles. So, and many of them are going to be like from overseas, like Dubai or wherever. They're not necessarily going to be native Italians. But the point is that women are much more humbled when they go to Europe, and women are born and raised there, in those countries. Their expectations are not as high in terms of like the mode of transportation you get to the date. But American women, we've been very, they've been very spoiled to like go on a date and Cheesecake Factory, forget that, or Starbucks, what the hell do you think I am, and that kind of attitude, that just won't get you very far in Europe.
We really do care about that. And so you see, this proves what I've been saying, which is that modern women are all trapped in their own bullshit, leaving them with nowhere to go. Because nowhere outside of America are men going to cater to this nonsense, and on top of that, more and more American men are now waking up to the fact that there is a whole world out there where women actually like men.
Ray is cooking up an absolute storm. You're cooking 3 Filipino dishes today. 4 Filipino
So anyway, she wanted to like express the fact that like, hey, dummy, I did 4 instead of 3, but she's being sweet about it and nice about it. I mean, that's my wife too. She doesn't make fun of me if I make a mistake like that. She lets me know that I'm wrong or whatever, but she doesn't like, I don't know, be combative about, my error. So anyway, that's the point. There's nowhere outside of America that they're going to deal with that. There are an enormous amount of simps in the United States. We've had a very good economy over the past 10 years, and men have accumulated some money, and unfortunately they're pissing it away on like OnlyFans and we like to call only simps, but whatever. But they're pissing it away on those outlets and taking women out to dates. Like, while they still have some friends with benefits, they're taking them out on a date, and women's taking leftovers to their little chat afterwards or whatever. I mean, that's an extreme scenario, but that kind of thing is happening, and I've run into that scenario myself on the other end. That's it. That's what I wanted to talk about. It's just something a little entertaining, but it gets you focused on like ignoring the feminists, just ignoring. They're going to have their little bullshit bingo kind of thing that like, and I had it in the other video as a joke, but like, oh, she wants you for a green card. She wants you for money. She's underprivileged, sex trafficking, and the free square, and all these other things. But like, you have to ignore all of that. A lot of that is just hate. There's no coherent argument to anything they're saying. Just stay focused, stay the course, implement your strategy, however that looks. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, Kings.